will show you how to use the ultimate dispatcher that I sell on Etsy and also on my website. If you're interested in this item, check out the link in the description. If you purchase this item on my website, it's a little bit cheaper and you get 10% discount. So this ultimate dispatcher is one of the most complex template that I've created in a while, mainly because I have to create a custom Google Sheet script to accurately calculate the ETA based on the FMSEA hours of service rule. So if you're watching this, I'm sure you're aware that in the trucking world, there are time limits on how long a trucker can drive and how much hours of break that they can have, right? So, according to the FMSCA, which is the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, you can drive maximum of 11 hours, and then you need a 30-minute break every 8 hours of straight driving, and then you need 10 consecutive hours off duty for rest or sleep, right? And then you can have on duty max on duty hours per day is 14 hours, and then this include driving and other work. So I built this template with that rule in mind so that I could calculate the ETA accurately. And if you don't want to use a standard rule, there's also a customized rule that you can use where you define what the max driving hour is and the break and then the rest time. But if you break any of these rules set by the FMSCA, then it would notify you of that. Okay? So that's basically the main purpose of this template is calculating ETA estimates based on the HOS rule. So let me show you or walk you through all of the tabs that you get when you purchase this template, and then we'll do two examples so you can see how it works, and then I'll show you an example of a template that's all filled out so you can see how it looks like. All right. So you purchase this template, you get 7 tabs. So the very first tab here is just kind of like instructions or information that you have time. Please take a look and read through it. And then of course this is the hours of service information. It tells you what the logic is for the HOS script setting and also other good information about the FMSCA hours of service. And then this tab here is the trucker broker setup where you can set up the driver, their phone number, the truck number that they're assigned to, and then the trailer number that they're assigned to. Then here you can provide the broker name that you work with, and all this information will be part of the drop down menu on the scheduler. And the next up is the scheduler. So let me make it a little bit smaller so you can see everything in its entirety. This is the heart of the template. So this is where you could schedule your truck and then calculate the projected ETA, expected arrival, and all those information. Here you get also a little mini dashboard as well. And then the archive data tab, this is pretty much where it stores all your data. It's blank right now because I haven't archived any, but basically all the data from this scheduler here, once you click on this archive button here, it would move all those data from the scheduler to the archive data so you can save your data. And then you can also clear your scheduler as well after you complete a week and you archive your data, then you can clear it, and then you don't have to go and click every cell here and delete. It just deletes it for you automatically, so you can start your week fresh and then schedule your trucks for the next week. And then the calendar view here, it just contains the whole entire calendar for the month. And then if you have data, it should show data for all the trucks delivery on each of these dates here if you have one. And then you can control it by picking any of the month here. And then of course I have a disclaimer here, you can read through that. But those are pretty much all the tabs. And so let's start. Let's do 2 examples. So like I said, after you get this template, read through the information here and then set up your data here. If you're happy with all the data set up here, then you can go on to the scheduler. So on the scheduler here, you can see that there's a weekly setting. So here's where you set up the dates for the week. So let me show you something here. So each of the so on the scheduler you have 7 of this table. So each table represent a day in a week, right? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you can control this table, the date on this table, by this weekly setting here. So we are in May right now, and I want to start my day on Monday, but you want to start it on Sunday. You can see it automatically change on a Sunday, but usually people start work on a Monday, right? So you can put Monday, and then here you can pick any week within May that you want to work on, right? So let's say next week you come in, you can change this to week 4, and then it should start like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? And then you can schedule your truck in any of these tables. So these tables, they house 15 lines, so that means you can schedule 15 trucks in a day. And then here, one more thing I want to point out is when you click on this any of this week here, so you can see the dates change. So if I pick week 3, it says the date that I've selected is May 12 to May 18, and then so the table will show all those dates similar. So it'll be from May 12 here to all the way to May 18, right? So if I pick the next week, if I pick week 4, you see it start from May 19 to May 25th, May 19 to May 25th. Again, all of these tables just represent a day and a week, okay? So we'll do week 3 because we are in week 3. So after you set that up, then you can set up your trucks, okay? So how you can set up your truck is you can just pick any of the truck here. Let's say I pick truck number 3, and then automatically tell me the trailer number that's associated with truck number 3, and then the driver that's associated with truck number 3. All of this drop down here is from the setup that you have here. So you can see you put truck number 3, you have trailer 14, and Liam Marks is the person. So you can see trailer 14, Liam Marks, right? So it just basically picks up the information associated with this truck here. And then here you can put the load number. So I'll just put example. And then broker, you can pick any of the broker. So the broker information from this drop down is part of this information that you've input in here. So that's why it's important to set up this tab first before you work on the scheduler, right? So then you can pick any of the scheduler you or the broker that you work with, and then you can put the load rate. And then you can see the load, it automatically sum up your load revenue. Okay, so sum up all the load rate here, and then the PO, you can just put in a PO number if you have one. Status, you can change it to book any of the status that you want. Okay, I'll just put pending for now on this one. And here, current truck location. So let's just say my truck right now is located in Mount Vernon, Washington. And then here you can put the origin and destination, and then the total mile would automatically display. It calls up a Google API to calculate the distance between 2 points. So my origin, let's say I'm going from Seattle, Washington to Miami, Florida, right? And you see it pops up right away. It tells you there's 3,297 miles and the average MPG is 65. So let's go back here and talk about column L and M real quick. So here you can put the city and state, or you can put the complete address, so it'll be more accurate. So so either or, right? You can put city and state, or you can put complete address. That's not an issue. And then here, if you have additional miles that you want to input, more than this 3,297 estimate here, then you can add extra miles if you want. So if you put in 5 extra miles, it will just add that up. Okay, so it'll add that up. And then the 65 miles per hour here, it also comes from Google. Google is estimating that the drive there should be about 65 miles an hour. And the reason why it's not higher is because I have it capped at 65 miles per hour, because usually that's a safety limit in most of the states. But if you want to change that limit to something higher after you purchase this template, then you can absolutely do that, and I have instructions on how to make that change as well. But right now, all the speed limit is set at 65. Okay, and then here we can put the starting date. So we'll just start on the same date, 2025. So I'm just working on the May 12th date here. So let's say we'll start on the same date here, and then let's see we're driving at 12 p.m. Okay, so automatically it says that we need 50.8 hours to get there. That's our total driving hours need. And here's where you can pick which hours of service setting you want. So you pick the regular, you can just pick from drop down menu and it automatically calculate the ETA for you. So the arrival will be Friday, May 16 at 8:47 a.m. So the expected arrival time, so this is it automatically, this cell here automatically calculates the arrival time, and if it's arrived then it'll say arrived, right? But here, based as of right now, it says that this truck here will arrive in 1 day 22 hours and 56 minutes. Okay, and trip duration, it will be 3 day 20 hours and 48 minutes. And if you want to know, okay, how did it calculate this projected ETA, what you can do is go to this drop down menu here on this generate projected ETA calculation and just click yes, and then a window will pop up and it'll show you how it came at that estimate, right? So here you have the drive plan, so the distance here, the average speed, again this is capped at 65, and then the estimate driving time, so this is the HOS rule that we selected was the standard, and ETA is Friday, May 16th, right? Trip duration is 92 hours 48 minutes, which is about 3 days 20 hours and 48 minutes. And here it tells you the total drive hour, the total break hour, and the total rest hour. So this one, the standard 1114 rule, is in compliant with HOS setting. Okay, so you can see here, you start on May 12th at 12 p.m. You drive for 11 hours. You're required to have a 30-minute break every 8 hours, and then your end time be 11:30 p.m. So then you need to take a 10-hour rest, right? Then from there you have a 39.8 hours left to drive. So after 10 hours of rest, then you can start at 9:30, and so on and so forth. All right. So that's how the standard 1114 rule work. Okay. And then if you want to do the same for custom, so what you can do is, let's just do an example here. So we'll just copy this data here so that we could do a custom, so you can see. So also I will add 5 extra miles there, and then we'll start at 5/12/2025, 12 p.m. Oops. All right. So total hours still 50.8 hours. So instead of standard, we'll just pick custom now. Okay. And then a box will pop up and ask us our personalized setting. So max hour drive, how many hours do you want to drive per shift, right? So let's say if I put 15, okay, example. Required rest hour, let's say if I do like 9 hours of rest, and then 20-minute break, 20-minute break every 15 hours and such. Okay, so or 20 minutes within that 15-hour break. And as you notice, I'm kind of intentionally breaking the HOS rule, so that you can see that it'll flag it, right? So we'll hit submit. And then the ETA is a little bit earlier than the standard one because, you know, driving 15 hours straight. So here, just go to yes, click yes on this. And then so we can see that, you know, it's flagging that there's a lot of issue going on, right? We're breaking a lot of rules here. So you have all this data on the top here. You have the drive hour, your break time. So just pretty much adding up all the breaks. So there's an hour of break. And then you have 27 hours of rest. So you can see minimum you need at least 10 hours of consecutive rest. But I just put 9. So you can see it has an issue here. It says, right? Rest is less than 10 hours, 11-hour drive, and then over 14-hour duty shift or 11-hour driving. So I put 15-hour here driving, so of course that's an issue. And then you need at least a 30-minute break, but I only put 20-minute break. And in here it shows you how it gets to that 6:47 p.m. arrival. So you can just add this up, and the math should work out correctly. But as you can see here, there's a lot of rule violation here, right? So we're just flagging it. So that's a cool thing about the script. So let's just go back and fix it. So we know that breaks a lot of rules, so let's change it. Okay. So if you want to change it, just make sure you delete this yes here, and then go to this custom and just delete that, right? And then we can do it again. So then you can select custom. sometimes when you make changes, you notice, right? Like if you uh toggling between, standard or custom, sometimes it just says missing input. That's fine. It's not really an issue. And then once you have the setting correctly, or you pick the one that you want, it should automatically populate again. The missing input would disappear. Okay. So now let's say we'll have the max driving hour at 10 hours, required rest hour, let's say 10, and then break is 30 minutes. Okay. So we hit submit, and now we shouldn't be seeing all those X's because we are within the rule limit. Okay, so now we'll hit yes. Okay, so see, you don't see any of those X's anymore because you're within the limit, right? So you're driving 10 hours, that is less than 11 hours continuous driving, so you're good. And you're getting 30-minute break within this 10 hour, and then after 10 hours of driving, you get 10 hours of rest. So it's happy, right? So not really an issue here. So this is how you can customize a ETA if you wish to customize it. Okay. All right. So after you're happy with this, and then you like when the delivery date is, you can put the delivery here as 5/16/2025, and here you can put 5/16/2025 as well if you want, and then you can put check-in time or check-out time, and here you can put notes as well. All right. And then here, as you can see on the dashboard, it automatically populates as you input data. So as you can see here, it'll show you the top 3 brokers news, and then the broker name, how many loads did you work with that broker. So let's say if I pick another Love Logistics here, you can see, you pick 2 loads, right? It counts as well, and it'll pick the top 3, and also the driver as well. So let me just pick another driver. So you can see it automatically picked the first 3. Well, these are the only 2 that show up because there's only 2 available. But as you add more, it will definitely just show you the top 3 and then the loads per the driver. So I thought that's a cool thing to add. And then it'll tell you the miles for the whole week. So pretty much add in all the miles for the week. And then you have all of this visual data here. Okay. And then the other thing I want to mention, I forgot to mention earlier, is this area here, column O and P. So again, it uses the Google API to calculate distance between 2 points. And Google API is a little bit tricky because there are certain limits. There are certain calls limit that you can call per day. So if you use this template extensively, I would say be cautious about that, because sometimes if you reach the limit, it will error out. So this is how it will look like when it errors out. Let me show you, like this. So pretty much it won't display like a distance or the speed limit anymore. So you won't even be able to use the HOS rule, right? Because using the HOS rule, it needs to know what the distance is in the miles per hour so it can calculate the ETA. Without this data, it's not going to be able to work. So there's 2 ways around this actually. So one way is you can just delete this, right, and input the data in yourself. So you don't really rely on Google API. If that's what you prefer, you can do that as well. And then the other option is you can buy more API calls, or you can get Google One. So I have a personal Gmail account that I have Google One, and I notice when I use it on my personal account and I fill everything out, it never resets. It's only on my free Google accounts that it resets after, I don't know, after I fill it out up to maybe the 6th box, then sometime it resets. Okay. So I just want to call out that risk there. So if you use this with if you leave this as is, right, which is it's using Google API, it might error out if there's a limit that you hit. So if you're concerned about that, just delete this formula and enter in the data yourself manually. So you don't have to worry about the speed, the limit that is set here. You can put 75 or whatnot, right? So that's all up to you. Do what's best for you. So I just want to make sure that you understand that there's a risk with this, okay? It might error out. But if you don't work on this too much, where you don't call up the APIs a lot every day, then you should be good. Oh, and the other thing I want to show you is if after you're done with this, right, and you want to archive your data, just click on this down arrow here. So it'll bring this data to the archive table. As you can see, everything that you've input in here, it would move to this table or this tab here. So you can have a record of your truck schedule. So it will take the data basically from I think B28 all the way down to the last table up to I would say AC 164, and it'll bring that data there, and it won't override this data. So you can see I already click on one, right, and it bring that the first copy over. So let's say if I click on it again, you're gonna see that it will be pasted on either row 23 or row 24, right? Okay, so let's click on it. Okay, yep, so it pastes again on row 23. And so every time you click on it, it'll just save whatever the data is here, and it'll bring it to the archive data, and it doesn't override the data. All right, that's a nice thing about it. And then, if you're starting a new week and you don't want to spend time clearing everything out, so what you can do is you just hit clear. So you hit clear, you can see everything clears out, right? That's pretty cool. So you have to spend time clearing it out. So that's pretty much a neat trick. And if you accidentally hit, clear, and you're like, oh no, you want to revert it back, it's not an issue. So you just go to this undo button here and it should come back. Okay. So I actually forget, and I'm glad that there's an undo button because I want to show you how it looks on the calendar. So as you can see here, on let's say on May 12th, we have two trucks that are two deliveries, right, for 5/16. So we look on the calendar view. Let me make this smaller. And you can control how the table looks, right? Here as well. So you can see here, you can pick the year, which year. If you pick, 2027, this will show 2027. You pick 2025, we'll do 2025 because we're in 2025. We're picking May right now. If you pick, another month, it will just show another month basically. So we'll pick May. And then here on the 16, we have one pending. So let me go back here and add a status. So quick delivery. Okay, so we have one pending and one delivery. On the delivery date's 5/16, so you can see that's why it's showing up on this 5/16 box. So on this calendar here, it shows you the delivery schedule. Okay, and here you can pick the statuses if you want. If you just want to look at all the deliveries, so it'll just show delivery. Okay, if you want to pick just pending, it will show you just the pending one. Okay, and then if you want to pick all, then it will show you everything. So that's a neat thing about it. And here it should just show you the load for the day for May 14. So let me show you something. Let me just go there and add something there on May 14. So let me just pick a truck here, and then current truck location is, let's just say we're gonna do Seattle, Washington, and we're gonna do Portland, Oregon. Okay, and then this one, no additional miles. So let's say we'll start driving on 5/14/2025, and then we're driving at 1 p.m. Okay, and then I'll just do the standard. All right, and the delivery would be on, let's just put the delivery as 5/15/2025. I want to show you okay, delivery as an example. I just want to show you example. Okay, so this here, we put data on 5/14, this date. So as you can see here, it will show you on this date you have one load, right, that you schedule. But the delivery date's 5/15, and you can see this on 5/15, right? Because this delivery date, it matches the date here, so that's why you're seeing it here. But versus on this calendar, it will just show you all the loads that you've scheduled for that date. Okay, so that's the difference between this calendar up here and then this the calendar down here. All right, so all right, and then let me see. So I think that's all I want to show you for this calendar and how it works in the workflow. So let me show you how it looks like when everything is kind of filled out. So here is the scheduler that I have where, I mean, everything is filled out, and I use this on my personal account mainly because I was just concerned that the API would reset. But on my personal account, it doesn't reset because I think I have higher API calls because I have Google One. But I'm not very sure. I can't verify that. I'm not sure how to verify it, but I just know that when I use it on my personal account, which have Google One, it doesn't reset for some reason. All right. So I put a lot of data here because I wanted to show you the dashboard, how it looks like when it's kind of like all populated. Here it tells you, gives you a pie chart here, tells you the amount of the loads that were delivered compared to all the other statuses, right? You have all your load revenue, and this is kind of like the quick information about the broker. Let me make it a little bit bigger. The broker, the driver, and then the total miles you drive in that week. Then you have how many trucks that arrived. So you can see here, one truck arrived, right? So it says arrived. And then it says one truck, and 12 trucks are en route. So anything that is expected, right? So those it counts as being en route. And then here you can see the average MPG is 65, and then you schedule total of 24 trucks. And of course you have all the miles traveled by day, right? All right. On the calendar too, I want to show you as well. So as you can see here, let me make it smaller. So here, these are all the schedule for the day. So you have 5 loads on 5/14. So we can see on 5/14, there are 5 of these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's showing you all these and on that big calendar here. And then some of these are being delivered on the 15th and then the 18th, right? So on the 15 and the 18, you should see data. See 15 and 18, right? 15 right here. So delivery should match these dates here. It should show up. This shows up according to delivery date, okay? So so then you can pick the status, where there's in transit. So it will just all display all the in transit. If you want to just see everything, then it'll show you all the statuses on this calendar. So it's pretty neat. And you can print it out as well. And just highlight everything and go to file and then hit, let's see, print down here, and then you should be able to print it. And then you can add like, any to-do list if you want. You just click on this and you just type in your list to do. So you can have it right here. So that's basically how it works. And again, this is the just archive data. And then so that's pretty much how it works. I hope that if you purchase this template, it could be of use to you. And I hope that the hours of service setting that I've built and the script that I've written can be helpful to you and help you stay on track of tracking your truck. So if you have any questions or concern, please reach out to me, and thank you so much for watching.